Orang memanggil aku Minke.
That eternally harassing, tantalizing future. Mystery. We will all eventually arrive there, willing or unwilling, with all our soul and body, and too often it proves to be a great despot. And so, in the end, I arrive too. Whether the future is a kind or a cruel God is, of course, its own affair.
I feel like I'm spending too much time on things that are not really important. Too often, we mistake success for greatness. It all began when I read the books about Minke, a dramatic story from colonial Indonesia. I felt that I was missing some basic experiences in my life.
Nå er det snakk om sekunder her, så nå merker jeg at pulsen er litt høyere.
Ja, my pleasure.
Pramoedya Ananta Toer is one of Asia's most famous writers, several times a candidate for the Nobel Prize in Literature. His own life was perhaps even more dramatic than the life of Minke, whom he writes about. He created his main works while he was a political prisoner living under inhuman conditions.
People called me Minke. My own name, for the time being, I need not tell it. Not because I'm crazy for mystery. I've thought about it quite a lot. I don't yet really need to reveal who I am before the eyes of others.
For Minke in colonial times, and for Pramoedya many years later, life became a struggle for freedom and justice, where art, humanity and beauty were used to oppose the forces of dictatorship.
My very first book that I got is called Rumah Kaca, the Glass House, and it's one of the churchology. And I got it through a friend, and he had to get it from Pasar Senen, which is the Senen Pasar, which is the black market. And I had to pay like 35,000, and it was like hush hush under the table, you know.
Pramoedya grew up in Indonesia while the country was still a Dutch colony, and the tension between Indonesia and Dutch culture puts its stamp on both his childhood and his literary work. Pramoedya's meeting with the Dutch language when he started school at the age of 6 was hard.
Itu dari bacaan dan dari sikap orang tua saya, sikap ayah saya. Ayah saya itu direktur sekolah Budi Utomo, saya sekolah di situ. Untuk lulus 7 kelas, saya membutuhkan waktu 10 tahun. Ayah saya malu itu. Jadi dalam mencurahkan perasaan saya itu nggak berani ngomong sama orang, saya tulis. Dan ini mender saya itu lama sampai umur 28. Umur 28 itu saya ke negeri Belanda. Di sana dapat pacar orang Belanda. Dengan mendapat pacar itu mender saya.
Yes, this is a good story.
That girl loves you. And love comes from a source of power that has no equal. It can change people, destroy them, or cause them to cease to exist, build them up, or smash them down. It's her love for you that I put my hope in. Minke, such beauty, such incomparable beauty, must not die.
Pramoedya took part in the struggle against colonial rule, and in 1949 the country finally became independent. Pramoedya established himself as a writer and journalist. He married and had 7 children. He became an active supporter of the new democracy and the country's first president, Sukarno. The world scene was dominated by the Cold War. Sukarno fought hard to keep the country independent, but strong forces were working against him. In September 1965, Sukarno lost power after a coup, and right-wing forces, with the support of Western powers, took control. A long and brutal military rule followed.
Bukan soal Amerika, itu politiknya Eisenhower. Jadi Eisenhower menggariskan Sukarno harus disingkirkan. Dan Sukarno itu dicintai rakyatnya. Ternyata caranya itu. Jadi orang-orang penyokong Sukarno itu yang bunuh untuk menggulingkan Sukarno.
A few days after the coup came the events that turned Pramoedya's life upside down. Events that in time would make him the impressive figure he is today, 40 years later.
Sebelum itu ada Intel itu sering datang ke rumah. Saya tahu untuk memata-matai saya, tapi dia bersikap sebagai sahabat keluarga. Nah, waktu terjadi peristiwa itu datang lagi ke rumah, dia bilang begini, Bung Pram, keadaan sekarang berubah. Sekarang saya main sebagai kucing terhadap Bung sebagai tikus. Lantas ada seorang Tarbin namanya, itu pembantu redaktur Relentera Bintang Timur. Dia bilang, Bung ngungsi saja. Sebab Bung pasti akan dikeroyok nanti. Karena Bung punya nama katanya. Nah ini rumah saya bilang, mau pergi kemana saya?
Pramoedya was arrested and his manuscripts burned. He was never given any reason for his arrest, nor any trial or legal sentence.
I had no idea of how I was to fight back, what I had to fight, who or how. I did not know either what should be my tools or through what mechanism we should endeavour. But we would fight.